They say there's no I in team. But Waurika senior Josh Jacobson certainly embraces the ME, as he's the only grappler on the Eagles wrestling team.
Number one question I always get is, how do I duel people? And the simple answer is I don't. I just go to tournaments and get all the mat time I can there.
Josh's journey began 12 years ago when his family moved to Waurika, only to find there was no wrestling team. But instead of exploring other schools, Josh and his father asked the administration for help.
I went in to visit with the superintendent, and he was great. I just laid out the needs and said we need a program for him. And Mr. Terry didn't even blink, and he said, we will gladly give you a team sport if you'll coach it.
Between matches, Josh is left to practice on his own, but he does get help from nearby programs.
Probably 3 of the 5 days a week I'm in Duncan or occasionally Lawton. But when they do have a duel, because again I don't get to go to duels being a one-man team, it's just a lot of mostly hard conditioning and one-man drilling. You know, there's a lot of shadow wrestling and things to keep my heart rate up.
Josh is an army of one, proud to represent his town, even if it means choosing the tougher path.
Anybody can get up and go succeed somewhere big, but tough people succeed where they're at under their circumstances and just make the best of what they have. They didn't have to let us do this, but they did, and since they did, I want to succeed here. If I do succeed and I bring home hardware, I want it to be for Waurika.
Despite the odds, the 170-pounder has done quite well for himself. He's racked up over 100 wins, twice placing regionally, and he even qualified for state in 2011. But for the Jacobson duo, the greatest accomplishment of all is the time they've spent together.
We work together, train together. We've had a lot of car rides together, and it just feels good to know your biggest fans in your corner every match.
And we came back from a very long weekend, and this gentleman sat with me on Monday and said, so you spent this much time this weekend? I said, yes. And he looked at me and said, was it time well spent?
Belly on the mat, Josh! Belly on the mat!
I looked at him back and said, you mean 18 hours with my son? Every minute. You can't explain or describe what I've been able to do.
For 7 Sports, I'm Alex Coppolo.